Welcome back, because this one gets into ownership, identity, and the ugly price of freedom.
And basically why staying comfortable can quietly bankrupt your life.
That is such a hostile sentence to start with.
Comfortable is often just expensive with better branding.
The wild part is how often people think the safe path is the smart path.
It usually is the socially approved path, not the wealth-building one.
But people hear ownership and they think, I need a genius startup, not a laundromat.
Exactly, when the boring stuff is often the money printer.
The money printer is never sexy enough for Instagram, which is the problem.
Right, because people want applause more than cash flow.
And your whole point is that ownership is learnable, not mystical.
Totally, you just need the language of money and enough reps.
So why do so many smart people stay employees forever?
Because fear gets disguised as prudence and rents their whole life.
That sentence hurt my credit score somehow.
Good. Maybe it'll hurt someone's excuse too.
What flipped for you personally when you saw the bosses up close?
I realized they were pretty average people with outrageous outcomes.
That is both inspiring and insulting at the same time.
Exactly, and I chose inspired instead of bitter.
That mindset shift feels like the real unlock, not the first deal.
It is, because once you see possibility in other people, you stop shrinking.
But a lot of people see rich people and just get annoyed.
Yeah, and annoyance is a terrible wealth strategy.
Put that on a mug and sell it for $12.
And that mug would probably outperform half the advice online.
You kept talking about long-term people and long-term games.
Billionaires obsess over time because time compounds harder than hype.
The 61-year company story was insane.
61 years on one business is a different universe of patience.
Most people can't even stay focused for 1 quarter without spiraling.
Right. And then they wonder why they're not compounding.
And the part about people helping hungry builders was fascinating.
Hunger plus action is rare, and rare people get pulled forward.
The DM filter thing was brutally honest, though.
Any jobs going is basically a personality test gone wrong.
That's not outreach. That's a cry for administrative mercy.
Exactly. Ask for less and give more if you want attention.
And the people who send value first actually stand out.
Because effort is the first proof that they might do hard things.
So you're saying content is basically modern networking with fewer awkward handshakes?
Completely. Content is pull, not push, and push is exhausting.
Small talk at events is my personal version of a hostage situation.
Same. I'd rather make one good video than 100 fake connections.
And content also finds your people, which is the underrated part.
Yeah, it becomes a filter for who actually wants you to win.
That shedding part hit hard because growth can make old friendships weird.
It does. And sometimes your evolution makes other people uncomfortable.
Do you think starting at 30 made that identity loss harder?
Definitely, I had more to shed because I had built more before changing.
That makes sense, because at 18 you were still becoming yourself.
Exactly. And at 40 or 50, the walls are much taller.
You were also really honest about divorce, which is rare.
Freedom had an exit tax, and mine was emotional and expensive.
That phrase is brutal because it's true.
But on the other side was a life that actually fit me.
The tiny townhouse detail was weirdly powerful.
A small place that is fully yours can rebuild your nervous system.
That's such a strong image because freedom needs somewhere to land.
Exactly. You sometimes have to stand on your own 2 feet again.
And goals for you are calendar-based instead of vague dreams.
Deadlines make reality move faster than fantasies do.
Vague goals are just emotional wallpaper.
Yes, and 3-year plans can lie to you anyway.
The ownership philosophy inside your company was interesting too.
I want equity, skin in the game, and upside for everyone who earns it.
So not everybody needs to be a founder, but everybody should own something.
Exactly, because effort should change your financial position.
And then the no B players mantra came in swinging.
B players are sticky in the worst possible way.
That is such a corporate horror movie line.
But it's real, because they drain energy and slow everyone down.
What I liked is that you didn't pretend you're perfect either.
No, I still get lazy, distracted, and plenty imperfect.
Thank you for giving the internet permission to be human.
If I can be a mess and still build, so can everyone else.
And then that mountain story, wow, that was the real finale energy.
I was terrified, miserable, and suddenly completely honest with myself.
You walked away from the summit because it wasn't your mountain.
Exactly. Courage is sometimes refusing the wrong hard thing.
That's the line of this episode right there.
Choose your mountain wisely, because not every fear deserves a victory lap.
That is a ridiculous amount of wisdom for one conversation.
We survived the chaos and made it useful somehow.
And I think that's the series in one sentence, honestly.
Yeah, build something real, leave the wrong room, and stop worshiping the shiny stuff.
Beautifully said, and honestly the perfect way to close this out.
Thanks for having me. This was fun and a little dangerous for my ego.
That means it was a good episode.
And thanks to everyone listening for sticking with the whole journey.
Welcome back. We're finishing the ownership and freedom conversation today.
And this one gets into the ugly part: identity, exits, and what freedom actually costs.
That's the part people avoid because it sounds expensive in every possible way.
It usually is, and then people act shocked when the bill shows up.
The wild thing is people call staying stuck the safe choice.
Safe if you enjoy a slow leak in your soul.
That is horrifyingly accurate.
The biggest shift is realizing ownership is not glamorous, but it is power.
And you keep saying boring businesses, which is funny because boring sounds like the whole point.
Exactly. Boring is where the cash flow hides from everyone too busy chasing sparkle.
So laundromats and car washes are basically anti-flex assets.
Totally. They don't post well, but they pay better than half the internet.
What I keep hearing is that people don't need permission. They need a model.
Yes, and they need to stop thinking billionaire is a species and start thinking it is a time horizon.
Time horizon is a brutal line because that's actually the cheat code.
That's the whole game, compounding patience while everybody else panics for dopamine.
Meanwhile, most people are compounding anxiety on a phone screen.
Exactly. And then wondering why their life feels rented.
Let's talk about the identity piece because that felt bigger than the money.
It is bigger because money just exposes who you became to get it.
When people outgrow rooms, the room starts acting weird.
Oh, massively weird, because growth is a mirror and mirrors are rude.
Mirrors are rude is a perfect line for the whole internet.
People want your growth until it reminds them of their own stagnation.
And then they call it arrogance when you simply got more serious.
Right, and sometimes leaving is not betrayal, it is just self-respect with receipts.
That divorce story hit because it wasn't dramatic, it was honest.
It was just two people wanting different lives, and that's heartbreaking enough.
The exit tax line is so good because freedom always has a toll booth.
And the toll is scary because you cannot know the other side until you pay it.
But once you do, you realize the fear was just the entrance fee.
Exactly. And some people spend their whole life refusing to buy the ticket.
That is insane, but also painfully recognizable.
The tiny townhouse part mattered because place can be a reset button.
That felt almost sacred, like she needed one room that belonged only to her.
Yes, because sometimes autonomy starts with a chair, a cup of tea, and a locked door.
That's such a quiet thing to change a life.
Quiet things change everything. We just obsess over loud ones.
Which brings me to the content piece because that surprised me the most.
Content is basically leverage without begging, and I love that about it.
So the club line becomes the perfect metaphor for modern business.
I do not want to stand outside the club pretending I belong there.
You want the room, the table, and the keys.
Exactly. And content is how you make the room come to you.
That is such a clean reversal from old school networking.
Old school networking is just exhaustion with better shoes.
That's vicious, but it lands.
I would rather make something useful once than shake hands 1,000 times.
And then the DMs become a filter for character, which is almost evil.
The inbox is the lie detector nobody asked for.
Any jobs going is a devastating opener.
It tells me you want access without effort, which is usually the whole problem.
But the people who lead with value, those are the ones you actually remember.
Yes, because they understand reciprocity before they understand entitlement.
That also explains why billionaires help hungry people more than polished people.
They can smell action, and action is rare enough to be attractive.
So hunger plus follow-through is basically catnip for serious operators.
Pretty much, because most people just perform hunger for applause.
I liked the part about B players too, because that felt almost clinical.
It has to be clinical, because mediocrity spreads quietly, and then suddenly everybody is tired.
B players are the corporate version of mold.
That is terrible and also completely correct.
The scary part is they linger, whereas C players get obvious.
Exactly. B players are sticky because they think they deserve more than they make.
That energy tax thing is real because one draggy person changes the room.
It absolutely does, and people underestimate how expensive morale is.
Yet you also said nobody is perfect, which I think saves the whole conversation.
Of course, because I am not a productivity robot and nobody else is either.
Thank God. because the internet already has enough fake superhumans.
I want people to know they can be messy and still build something huge.
That might be the real democratizing message here.
Yes, because you do not need to be brilliant, you need to keep moving.
And if the mountain is not yours, you do not have to summit it.
That mountain story was my favorite kind of humiliating wisdom.
It's such a powerful ending because bravery was turning around.
Exactly. Sometimes the bravest move is refusing a stupid goal.
That feels like the whole series in one sentence.
Build the thing, own the thing, and leave the room that shrinks you.
And if somebody listening is in that in-between state, they should hear that.
Yeah, the price is real, but the other side is usually louder than fear.
That is a great place to end this journey.
And a great reminder that boring can be beautiful when it buys freedom.
I cannot believe we made laundromats and exit taxes feel cinematic.
That's the magic trick. Make the practical sound like destiny.
Thanks for bringing the honesty, the chaos, and the real answers.
Thanks for pushing past the flashy stuff and staying with the deeper questions.
And thanks to everyone listening for riding with us through the whole series.
If this made you rethink what ownership means, then we did our job.
Welcome back. We're finishing on ownership, identity, and the price of freedom.
And the wild part is how expensive safety can be.
Because people think the job is free, but it's really a slow leak.
Exactly. And ownership is the thing that stops the leak.
That sounded like a plumber with a spreadsheet, and I mean that respectfully.
Good, because most wealth advice is just expensive plumbing.
But why do so many smart people still choose the leak on purpose?
Because they're trained to worship comfort and confuse it with progress.
That is a brutal sentence for a Tuesday.
It's also why people stay in jobs they secretly hate.
You keep coming back to that idea of the curtain being pulled back.
Yeah, once you see how average some powerful people are, the ceiling disappears.
That's the most dangerous realization in the world.
It's also the most liberating one, because now you know it's possible.
But most people see rich people and feel small, not possible.
That's the first mindset flip you have to make.
So envy is basically a bad business model for your brain?
Horrible model, terrible returns, zero C tight, and zero upside.
I need that on a t-shirt, honestly.
The better move is curiosity, because curiosity gets you access.
That's what you meant with billionaires helping hungry people?
Yeah, if someone is hungry and moving, people can feel it.
And if they just send the lazy message, they're done.
If the message says, any job's going, I already know enough.
That one was so cold it should have come with frost warnings.
It's not cold, it's efficient.
What actually works then, besides not being annoying?
Give value first, do the homework, and respect their time.
So the pitch is basically proof of effort, not just need.
Yes, because effort is a signal and need is just noise.
That's why people keep getting ghosted. They're sending noise with confidence.
Exactly. And then acting offended when nobody answers.
I loved your point that content is networking.
It's networking without the small talk and the fake smiles.
The fake smiles part is doing a lot of work there.
I hate small talk with the fire of 1,000 suns.
That explains the whole laundromat to billionaire pipeline.
Content lets people find your signal without you begging in rooms.
So you don't want to be the guy at the club door at all.
I want to own the club or be invited through the back.
That is such a clean business philosophy.
Push less, pull more, and stop acting thirsty.
And somehow that sentence can apply to business, dating, and fashion.
Sadly, yes.
The identity piece hit me hard too because success changes your relationships.
It does, and some people only liked the old version of you.
That mirror can get uncomfortable fast.
Very fast, and then people start resenting your growth.
Which is crazy because if they loved you, they'd want you to level up.
Some do, and those are the people worth keeping.
Did you feel that when you changed careers and left the old life behind?
Absolutely, and I had to pay the exit tax for freedom.
Exit tax is such a savage phrase for a personal reinvention.
It was expensive emotionally, financially, and socially.
But the other side was better than staying safe.
Way better, because freedom finally had a real address.
And that tiny townhouse mattered more than the big house?
More, because it was mine and I could breathe there.
So the luxury was privacy, not square footage.
Exactly. And nobody tells you that when you're chasing shiny things.
The calendar thing was interesting too because you treat goals like deadlines, not wishes.
Wishes are weak, dates make you move.
That sounds like the least romantic advice ever, and also the best.
Romance is overrated when you need a decision.
But do you ever worry people hear that and feel overwhelmed?
I worry more when they hear comfort and do nothing.
Fair. Because ownership also means responsibility for the people around you.
Which is why I care so much about A players and skin in the game.
The B player thing is ruthless, though.
B players are sticky and expensive in every possible way.
That should be illegal, honestly.
They drag teams down and then ask for more.
But you're not saying everyone has to be a founder.
No, I'm saying everyone should own something.
That distinction matters a lot.
It does because ownership can mean equity, upside, and dignity.
That's a beautiful trio, actually.
And the language of money is learnable, which is the whole point.
You really think money is more language than magic?
It's absolutely language, and most people are speaking it badly.
That explains a lot of bad decisions and even worse advice.
If you learn it, you can build wealth instead of just hoping for it.
And that's where boring businesses start looking sexy.
Laundromats are hot if they pay your bills.
That might be the most anti-influencer sentence ever said.
Good, because I'm trying to kill the influencer fantasy.
The mountain story was the clearest version of that for me.
I realized I was climbing a mountain I did not care about.
And the bravery was in walking away.
Sometimes the bravest thing is refusing the wrong hard thing.
That should wreck half the internet right there.
Good. Maybe people will stop worshiping suffering for no reason.
That's a perfect place to end this arc.
If this made people rethink ownership, then I'm happy.
And if it made them question the mountain, even better.
Thanks for letting it get messy and real.
Thanks for bringing the truth without sanding off the edges.
We kept the edges, which is usually where the good stuff lives.
And to everyone listening, go own something, even if it starts tiny.
We'll see you next time, and hopefully you're a little less stuck.
Welcome back. This one gets into ownership, identity, and the real price of freedom.
And basically why staying comfortable can be the most expensive choice of all.
That line always gets me because people think safety is free.
Safety is just rent with better branding.
That is an insane sentence, but it lands hard.
Most people are taught to rent their whole life and call it wisdom.
But a lot of people hear ownership and think, that is not for me.
Exactly, and I think that belief is the trap.
Because the trap starts way before money, right?
It starts with identity, then your calendar, then your bank account.
Wow, that was annoyingly clean.
I know. I hate when I sound organized.
What changed for you first, the money or the mindset?
The mindset, because I finally saw how average the powerful actually were.
That is such a dangerous realization.
It was huge because I stopped envying them and started studying them.
So instead of why them, it became why not me.
Exactly, and that one flip changes everything.
People are weirdly allergic to that flip, though.
They'd rather worship or resent than actually learn.
That's painfully true.
The billionaires I meet are usually obsessed with time, not money.
That's the part people miss. They think the goal is cash.
Cash is the scoreboard, time is the game.
That should annoy every productivity bro on earth.
Good, they need a little suffering.
And then there's the weird part where rich people start helping you.
I still think that's one of the funniest things in business.
Because they see hunger, but only if you're actually doing the work.
Right. Effort without entitlement is magnetic.
The entitlement part kills so many people.
Especially in DMs where effort goes to die.
Any jobs going is basically a personality test.
It is a terrible personality.
But the people who show value first usually stand out.
Every time because they understand reciprocity before asking.
That same idea shows up in content too, doesn't it?
Totally, content is networking without the awkward cocktail nonsense.
That is the best description of networking I've heard.
I never wanted to stand in line at the club.
You wanted to own the club and get the invite.
Exactly, and content lets you do that at scale.
So it's not just attention, it's leverage.
It's leverage, trust, and finding your people.
That's the part that feels expensive in a different way.
Growth can cost you old rooms and old friendships.
That shedding is real and people hate talking about it.
When you outgrow people, they often feel exposed.
Because your progress becomes a mirror they did not ask for.
Exactly, and some people would rather break the mirror.
That is brutal, but it's true.
It gets easier when you start finding the humans who want you to win.
Those people are worth more than applause.
Way more because they stay when the costume comes off.
Let's talk about the freedom tax because that hit me hard.
Yeah, freedom has an exit tax and it is never cheap.
So the price is emotional before it's financial.
Completely. Because leaving a bad fit means leaving a whole identity.
And sometimes a whole life you already explained to other people.
Exactly. And that is terrifying until it isn't.
What helped most when you were in that transition?
A tiny place that was just mine.
That detail is so human, it's almost cinematic.
It felt like rebuilding my nervous system from scratch.
That's the thing people ignore. The body keeps score.
And your environment either calms that score or worsens it.
Which means success is not just spreadsheets.
Shockingly, no.
You also seem obsessed with deadlines more than vague goals.
Vague goals are fantasy. Calendars force reality.
That's why people procrastinate their dreams forever.
If it's not on the calendar, it's not real enough.
Then why do so many people cling to 5-year plans?
Because they sound impressive and fail quietly.
That is evil.
Short-term goals are honest, and honest is useful.
Ownership inside teams came up too, and that was nuanced.
I don't think everyone wants to found a company, and that's fine.
But everyone should have some skin in the game.
Exactly, because effort should connect to upside.
And you actually let people graduate if they outgrow the role.
I want them to leave well if that's what they need.
That's not the most controlling CEO energy ever.
I know, it's almost suspicious.
But it says a lot about the culture.
I want winners around me, not permanent passengers.
That B-player rant was ruthless, by the way.
B players are sticky and dangerous, and everybody knows it.
Sticky is such a disgusting business word.
Because it is disgusting behavior.
But the bigger point is proximity changes performance.
Absolutely, high performers lift the room and low performers drag it.
And sometimes the hardest thing is admitting you are the drag.
That moment can be the beginning of everything.
You keep coming back to ordinary people being able to do this.
Because they can if they learn the language of money.
Finance as a language is such a good framing.
If you can speak it, you can negotiate with reality.
And the boring businesses matter because they actually cash flow.
Exactly. Boring is often where the money hides.
The anti-glamour business thesis.
Glamour is usually a bad return on attention.
The mountain story also ties it all together.
Because not every fear deserves obedience.
That was the clearest part for me.
I realized I was climbing for everybody else's applause.
And that is a terrible reason to risk your neck.
Exactly. Choose the mountain you actually want.
That's a pretty good final rule for life.
If the mountain is fake, walk away.
If the room is fake, leave that too.
If the DM says any job's going, definitely leave.
Immediate exit, no further questions.
Seriously, though, I love that we kept it grounded.
Me too, because the truth was never shiny enough to fake.
And that's usually how you know it's real.
All right, that's the end of the road on this one.
Thanks for being in the mess with me.
Thanks for bringing the kind of honesty people can actually use.
And to everyone listening, go own something, even if it's tiny.
We'll see you next time, and hopefully you're less stuck.